Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. Long time no see. I have taken yet another summer break and mostly because I had so much going on in my head and I just needed a break with Jacob being in Marine Corps boot camp. If you don't know, he is my 18-year-old son and he just graduated from Marine Corps boot camp. And it was just a lot for me to process with him being there. I found myself having a lot of anxiety about it, worrying about him, and yeah, so just on top of some other things, I just, I take random breaks. What can I say? So here we are. I'm going to be posting a few updates, a few videos, a few vlogs, and just kind of ease my way back into making some YouTube videos. I'm sorry about the reflection. I do have a little ring light here just because it is raining and it's pretty dark out here, so I just wanted a little bit of extra light. But you will get that reflection in my glasses. So I'm really sorry if that is going to be extremely annoying, but it is what it is, right? Maddie painted my fingernails this morning, so that's fun. And I got my hair dyed, which is really not what I intended. This is not really what I went for. The look I was going for is what I'm trying to say. But this is what we got, and you know what? I think it's kind of fun, and I'm kind of liking it, so we're going with it. Yeah, I want to do a quick Q&A because there's a lot going on, a lot to update you on, and I did a questions box on Instagram, and you guys sent some amazing questions. I will never get through all of them today, but there's some great questions, and I have more than enough content for a little sit-down video, so I'm excited. So thanks for hanging in as usual. Thanks for being here, and let's just jump right into it. So I've got it pulled up. I'm just going to be referencing the questions. I'm going to go down from the first one. So the first one is from Tinker123130, and she asked, how are you doing as a busy mom and wife? I'm doing really well. I'm super happy. I love being at home full time. It's absolutely everything that I imagined it would be. The only thing that I've noticed is that sometimes, I don't know, I feel like, I have to get out of the house regularly. That's just, I think, my personality, and doing that is just all that I need, really, to just kind of keep me grounded, just making sure that I'm not, being a hermit inside my house. But I love being home. I do not want to go back to work. Just every bit of it is everything that I've always wanted. So I don't envy my poor husband having to work every day, leave the home to work. I love cooking. I mean, I don't love cooking. We can get back to that topic later. I've gotten to where I don't particularly love to cook. On a boring, low-key day, I love to make some food, but cooking seems to be something that I have to be kind of in the mood for. But the bottom line is, I love being able to feed my family. I love cleaning my house. I love homeschooling my kids. I like planning things out to keep my house running smoothly. I just love all of that. And so I'm super happy, real happy. It is busy, yes. And I think finding some balance with getting back into date nights with my husband has been life-giving. And we're still working to incorporate some more of stuff for us in our schedule, which I think is going to make all the difference in the world. Because my husband battles burnout a good bit. He basically works day in and day out, and he's doing some other things for his business that he does at night. And so he's pretty much working around the clock, and he's kind of burnt out. So we're trying to incorporate some, some things to kind of help out with that. So Joss1315 says, handling and seeing friends or people once looked to as claiming Christian turning away. I mentioned this on an Instagram post recently, but I'm actually really struggling with anger and judgment towards some people that claim to be Christians that I really looked up to and followed on social media, who are now completely turning their back on the Lord and on faith in general, and I feel like are leading people astray because they've turned their back. And I'm angry about it. I'm angry that and this is just me being completely honest. I don't think that I'm better than anyone else, and I think we all could have, sin can always enter our life, but to completely turn your back on Christ in my opinion, the Bible says, you know, that you went out from us because you were never a part of us. So I feel disappointed, I feel let down, I feel angry, and I've seen several people on social media that I once really looked up to completely turn their back on their faith. And for me personally, it's honestly been something for me to really work through, because I realize that maybe I look up to some people more than I should. Maybe I put like my opinion of other people, you know, as like someone to look up to. Maybe I'm doing that in place of turning to Christ, or you know what I mean? Like, I mean, I think we can all agree that it's disappointing, but the fact that it's like really impacted me, or maybe it's just because I care like so much, and I'm just so frustrated by that. I'm so frustrated. I never want to see a Christian turn their back on their faith, and it's just really bothersome to me, and it's something that I'm still working through. All honor and glory says, how do you lovingly explain to others that your views on modesty aren't legalism? I haven't really had to do this. Some I have through YouTube, but I think a lot of people think that a lot of convictions can be characterized as legalism. You know, whenever I share my personal convictions about certain things, I think a lot of people misinterpret what I'm saying as like you must do XYZ in order to be saved, like a salvational issue, and that's not the case. So if anyone ever does say like, why do you wear mostly dresses and skirts? I say, because I felt really convicted and led by the Lord to change my clothing many years ago to something that I felt was more honoring to Christ in my personal life. And ever since, that's just the way that I've always, you know, lived my life. So, you know, I mean, people are probably going to interpret no matter what you say as judgmental if they're already coming from that position. If they already think that, a lot of times people look at people who follow convictions, they're already thinking that you're a judgmental type of legalistic Christian. And there's nothing that you can really do or say to change their mind on that. But the best thing that you could do is just try to be loving in your response and give a very short and clear and concise answer, like it's just a personal conviction, and I just, you know, try to follow my personal convictions and honor the Lord and whatever I feel that He's laid on my heart. The same person asked, how did you explain not celebrating Halloween to your children? And was Jimmy on board? Okay, so we have not celebrated Halloween for the past 3-ish, maybe more years. And I really explained to the kids about why our reasonings for that were. My husband has waned on his agreement with that. I mean, he agrees, but then he kind of doesn't. He wants the kids to participate in the trick-or-treating and things like that. So, as a matter of fact, this year we are allowing our kids to trick-or-treat, and we are doing a little bit of like a Halloween-ish activity. And to be quite honest with you, it's mostly because I'm not the only person in this marriage or in this family. So I cannot like heavy-handedly make the decisions on my convictions and impose those on my husband or my family. Ultimately, my husband is the head of the household. So if he really feels that he wants us to do X, Y, or Z, or wants the kids to do something, if I really heavy-handedly say, no, we're not doing that, then I'm actually really sinning by usurping his authority in my marriage. A lot of you are not going to agree with that, and that's okay. And there's been many times in my marriage that this has kind of happened, where I would feel convicted about something, and if he doesn't share that conviction, then you know, ultimately he has the final say. So that's just the way it is. And you know, it's something that we can lovingly and submissively do to just respect our husbands and trust that the Lord works in those areas that we want the Lord to work in, and pray about it. And that's the best way to handle those situations. Let's see. Pink Poodle 123, are you enjoying your new neighborhood? Yes and no. So far our luck with neighborhoods in the Wilmington area has been absolutely terrible. The first neighborhood we moved into it was more of a retirement community. It seemed like it was on a golf course, a lot of retirement age people there. We really struggled with you know, having young kids in that neighborhood, and like if we would leave a bicycle outside, they would take pictures of it and send it to our landlord, and they would email it to us, and there was just lots of things like that, just every day nitpicking us to death about our kids, and you know, they basically didn't want families there. So we moved to this community because the homeowner was moving back into their home. And so we found this home, and there's tons of kids in this, especially in this cul-de-sac that we live in. And I'm battling how much I need to share about this situation online, because I feel like I'm just constantly like complaining about like some of the, I don't know how to say this, like some of the people that we've come into contact with in this area, but I've always been one to just say it like it is, and I'm not going to deny that there's been some issues. This particular cul-de-sac has a very old teenager that plays with a lot of the very young children. He uses foul language. He's physical with them. I confronted him and mentioned it to the mom about, you know, him pulling my daughter's hair as she rode by on a bicycle, and the things that are being said, very perverse and graphic things that are being said while she was playing outside, like while all of them were playing outside. Things that I've heard with my own ears and witnessed with my own eyes, and by bringing that up to the parent, I pretty much blacklisted our family from this neighborhood. So she pretty much called me a liar, and so now we're kind of like the black sheep of the neighborhood, which I'm okay with that, because I prefer to stand up for my children instead of saving face. So it's been a really hard ride, and whenever my kids walk outside, for someone to be screaming profanities, saying that they hate our effing family and things like that, it's just been really difficult. It's been very traumatic, and just to be quite honest, you know, I don't think we fit in real well. So it's been hard, and that's just me being completely honest. So that's been a huge disappointment, a huge burden, a huge challenge. So at this point, my kids pretty much don't play with anyone anymore like that, and it's just very unfortunate. It's just very sad, and you know, I don't know, Mama Bear kind of is trying to protect her cubs, and I refuse to allow abuse, both verbal and physical, to continue without addressing it. So that's where we're at with that. You guys, please pray for that situation. We are going to buy a house, either, you know, we actually got a mortgage, like certified approval for a mortgage. We just now have to kind of ride out this lease, and it ends in June, and then Lord willing, we'll be moving again and buying a house and blah blah blah. So there's that. As a nurse, Mike's Gracie asked, as a nurse and Christian, what are your thoughts on birth control pills? So back in the day, I used to take birth control pills just kind of blindly. I didn't know anything about them, and then as the Lord really changed my heart, I stopped taking those, because I realized that there's an abortifacient effect with the birth control pills, which means basically that you can have a fertilized egg, and the pill will prevent that fertilized egg from being sustainable in your uterus. So because of that, I could not in good conscience continue taking that type of birth control. So I have been on no birth control whatsoever for many years. Of course, there's other ways of spreading your children out using barrier methods or other natural family planning. So no, I don't really agree with the birth control pill, especially for Christian women who are against like abortion, because that is truly aborting, you know, a fertilized egg, and you don't even know that it's happened. So that's just my thoughts on that. And this gypsy's journey asks, is Gavin here to stay? She hopes so, and yes, he is. Gavin is back home. He's home full time. He's here to stay. He is enrolled in our local high school. He is working right now at actually the same restaurant that Jacob used to work at, and things are going fantastically, and I could not be more happy. I am completely over the top, just excited, thrilled to have my son back home. I can't even tell you, y'all. I could bawl. I could cry. It's the best thing ever. I'm gonna cry. But it's the best thing ever, like, for real. I always cry when I do Q&As because inevitably somebody asks me something that makes, that just, it jerks at my heartstrings. How are you so happy? April Wilson 5. I am not always happy, my dear friend. I am not always happy. However, I do tend to be a very optimistic person. So, like, if something is really not going well, I tend to be like, this is just a day, this is a season, this is going to pass. My husband is not like that at all. And I just tend to be very optimistic. Like, I just feel like, if things are going bad, then I tend to look at how blessed I am as opposed to how bad things seem. I can look at tons of other people in other countries that are just suffering, and then how can I be upset with what the Lord has given me when I compare that to how some people are having to live their lives? I feel so blessed in so many ways, and there have been seasons of our life where we barely had money to eat. There have been seasons when we lost jobs. There have been seasons when just like, illness and all sorts of things, just very rough times. And so compared to those really hard times, I'm just feeling good and blessed right now. But no, I am not always happy. I have my dark days. You guys just don't see those. Let's see. Elena Pullman asked, what does Halloween look like for your family? So this year it'll be super simple, like a little bit of dressing up and trick-or-treating, and maybe like some fun family movies and popcorn, and maybe handing out some candy, and that is it. That is what we will do. Tasha I don't know how to say your name, but I recognize your name. Marcules asked, how old were each of your children when they started reading fluently? Any strugglers? Yes. And that is one thing that I have learned as a seasoned homeschool mama, that children do not need to be excellent readers right away. And if you push your kids to read before they're ready, you are in for a struggle. If your children are not ready to read, you will recognize that once you start reading lessons. And there will be a lot of tears, and maybe it's time to just wait a little bit longer. Sometimes 6 months, sometimes a year. It just depends. Mason was extremely reluctant reader. We had a lot of tears, a lot of struggles, and I was pretty hard on him. And I regret that tremendously. So let me just encourage you that if you have a child who is not ready to read, don't make them read. Maddie just turned 8 in June, and she's a good reader, but she was a little slower to get there. I feel like maybe a little bit. And it was interesting because we kind of pulled back on it for a few months, and then all of a sudden we went back to it, and it was like all the information had just been sitting there and marinating, and then when we went back to it, it was like all the dots connected right away, and it was just really incredible to watch that happen. So sometimes I think their brains just need to sit with that information for a while, and then when you go back, it's like they automatically know how to do it. So it's really incredible. Take it easy on your kids. Don't be too hard on them. I promise you they will get there if you slowly introduce that information. Homeschooling this year is going amazingly. We did have to take a step back. We went to Paris Island to watch the graduation. All the kids got sick right after we started school. We got about a weekend. We took like 2 weeks off, and now we're back at it. So it's going great. I absolutely love our homeschool year so far this year. Any info you would like to share about Gavin being back home? I can't share details because, that's his private life, and I've not been, I just don't feel like it's appropriate to share a lot about, you know, my ex-husband on my channel, etc., etc. So I'm not going to share details, but it's really amazing to have him here. And how is Jacob? Candace Marie 101. Jacob is really doing well. He's at MCT right now in Jacksonville, which is about an hour north of us. He is on the grounds of Camp Lejeune at Camp Geiger. It is a Marine Corps combat training course, basically infantry training for non-infantry Marines. So he is not infantry, he is aviation mechanic specialty. So he is going to be doing a 21-day Marine combat training there, and he is about a weekend right now, and then he will go to Pensacola, Florida for aviation mechanic school for 18 months. He's doing very well. I think he seems a little down, which I messaged him. I'm able to text him from time to time and talk to him occasionally. He seems a little down. I think he's struggling a little bit. They're not sleeping a lot there. They're not getting a lot of like regular meals. Things are just different than they were at boot camp. At boot camp, they were required to get so much sleep and so much scheduled meals, etc., and it's not the case there. And I think they're just really preparing these guys for combat. So it's hard. He seems a little, you know, what's the word, like run down a little bit, and but I have all the faith he's going to get through this part of it. Blessed Chickadee have you changed curriculum this year? And I have changed curriculum this year. We are using a lot of Simply Charlotte Mason. I adore it. I don't know what took us so long. I adore the Simply Charlotte Mason curriculum, and we are still doing some CC curriculum as well. And so far, it seems like an amazing combination. And the baby's out here now, so this is probably going to be where I end, unless I can manage this with him. Okay. How do you manage stress? This is, I think it's SAH, Stay at Home Mennonite Mom, probably. No. Managing stress. Honestly, I don't know that I manage my stress real well. I tend to be someone who cleans the whole entire house from top to bottom when I'm stressed out. I tend to be someone who doesn't eat very well when I'm stressed. I do a lot of praying, that's for sure, and keeping my mindset kind of positive and trying not to linger on whatever it is that's stressing me out. I try to keep my mind busy with things that I enjoy doing, and that's pretty much all I do. And like I said, I just try to remember that this is just a season and things always get better. Do they always get better? Oh my, should have known, all right. Let's see, Stevens 0328, what are your favorite Christian authors or books? I love Francine Rivers. Redeeming Love is my favorite book from her. What books are you reading at the moment? I actually brought those out so that I can show you, because there's always a stack. So I just finished Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. It was so good. It's a big book, you guys. It was like 650 pages plus long. It took me a little bit, but it was so good, so good. I never finished Way of Kings, but I am like halfway through, so I'm gonna finish this book, but I did like set it to the side. But also by Brandon Sanderson, so I'm going to finish that this year. I am reading the second book in the Mistborn trilogy. Nope, you can't touch. This one is Well of Ascension, and I'm excited to read this one because I enjoyed the first one so much. And then I am also reading, this is like a thriller. Stop. It is Imaginary Friend by Stephen Chbosky, and this one is not clean. There is a little bit of language in here so far. I don't know what else there may be in this book, but there is a little bit of language, but so far it's like super creepy. I wanted to do like a little bit of a creepy book for this season. The baby is like really trying to get this camera, y'all. And so this is another one that I'm reading. Okay, you guys, I had to ditch the baby inside the house. So this will be the last question. Okay. Let me see. What was this? Oh, okay, that book. And then I just bought Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse. And there's a booktuber, what's her name? Jessie May. And she raves about this book. So I decided that I would pick it up and give it a try. I'm so excited to read this book. My problem is, like, I'll probably start reading it. I always smell books. I love them so much. I'll probably start reading this one before I finish all of those. So I'll be technically reading like 4 books at the same time, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. Okay, I think there's like 2 more questions, and then I could probably get to everything real quick. I feel like I'm rushing, but that's just the way it has to be. Oh, by the way, that question was from Carrots and Cosmos. West from Wisconsin asked, do you have like-minded people or homeschoolers at your church? Tips on dealing if the answer is no. So we have been visiting this church that we've been visiting. We've been there maybe 4 times. We're not loving it, so we're probably not going to go back. It's super big. Like, I'm not crazy like about the childcare situation. They're in a completely different building, a long ways away from the sanctuary. Like when I drop my baby off, someone takes him from my hands and then takes him to the class, which I don't like at all. There's just a lot of things that just don't sit well with me, and so I'm not probably going to be going back there. So I have no idea if there are like-minded people there, because the church is too big to really get to know anyone. So I'm struggling with trying to find a church. It's a really big issue for us with dealing with childcare, and I happen to be like a really helicopter mom when it comes to childcare, and that tends to be like such an issue for me. So it's like a real big challenge for us when we have young children and that don't sit still and do a lot of screaming and crying. As you can see, it's just really hard. But finding like-minded people, I haven't found a whole lot of people like that in this area in general. My homeschool community helps with that for sure, and it's just kind of hard. So I'm still trying to get my footing here in Wilmington, and COVID has not helped that situation at all. Are you using a Spanish curriculum this year? Yes, and that's from JWAKS04. And we're using Calico Homeschool curriculum for Spanish, and I really love it. It's so far so good. So it's got a DVD with it, and we do lessons on the computer with that, and it has some flashcards and some posters with Spanish words and vocabulary. It's just been a lot of fun so far. We're not that far into it, but so far I really love it. It's actually a curriculum I've had for a long time that I bought at our I've had that curriculum for a while that I bought at our used homeschool curriculum store. So, and then are you still liking your new hair? Yeah, I'm liking it. I mean, it's different, it's fun. We're gonna go with it. It's okay, it's okay. Like, you know, I think so. We'll see. But okay, that's it for this video. I know it's been super long. Thank you guys so much for hanging in there with me. I feel like there was some other question that I forgot, and I think it was probably submitted as a comment. Oh, wait. Something about moving. Yeah, Lisa Malone asked, I've moved a lot in the last few years and the work of managing a busy household. How am I holding up? Moving, of course, is extremely stressful. But I'm the type of person that I just do what I have to do and then keep going. So that's what I do. And here I am. Take everything in stride, you guys. Take the good, the bad, the ugly, and just keep it moving. Keep it moving. Do what you got to do. Get through it. And sometimes it stinks and sometimes it's not fun. But you know what? You can get through it. You can get through it. and that's just what you have to do. So toughen up, ladies. Just get through it. All right, that is it for real this time, and I will see you guys again very soon. Bye.